Let's go, let's go. So find yourself a little bit of a space, feet around bed, hip width apart. So we're gonna start off, keep the heels nice and flat, knees nice and soft. I'll turn to the side so you can see. Just do one leg at a time, push the knee forward like that. So you'll feel your hips as well move from side to side. You get a little bit of movement into those calf muscles and ankles. Just drop it forward, right and left. Easy peasy. Try and keep the whole of the foot flat on the floor, spread the toes. Dropping it in, so you're really pushing your knee forward as far as you can on the one side, and then the other one stays reasonably straight. You'll get lots of movement through the hips at the same time. Now I'm going to take my socks off so you can see. Today we're going to do our feet again, but I want you to see if you can just move your big toes. So spread the toes and just try and lift the big toes off the floor and then place them back down. Do that a couple of times, just try and lift the big ones. Now some of you will find this quite easy, some of you won't be able to move your big toes at all. Just once or twice, lift them up. We'll do two more. And then after this one, we're going to keep the big toes down. I'm going to lift the rest of the toes. So push the big toe into the floor and try and lift and spread all your other toes. How many of you struggle with that? Give me a wave if you find that quite difficult. A couple, not too bad. Really try and lift them up and spread as much as you can. So it's only a little bit of foot mobility that we put in, just to try and make sure that your feet wake up as well. One more. And then from here, just roll your feet out onto the sides, so they're turned out onto the outside of the ankle, and then do the same on the inside. Now it feels a bit weird, you won't go very far on the inside. Roll it out, get a lot of movement through the outside of that ankle, and then just a little turn on the inside, you feel your knees pull together. Again, just roll out as much as you can, stay onto the blade of the foot, and then come on the inside. Lovely. Just do one more. Let's just give the shoulders a roll. So we're going to do a little roll down for the spine. What I want you to do is drop your chin to your chest, and then just start to let your fingertips roll down to the floor by collapsing the spine a little bit at a time, getting as much movement through that spine as you possibly can. Try and keep the legs straight so you've got a little softness in the knees but not too much. And then you roll it back up. So when you get to the top, your head is the last bit to come to the top. So you're literally rolling as much as you can. You drop your chin, you start from the top, then you start to collapse from the shoulders, then you start to round from the middle back, then you start to round from a little bit lower, you come right down as far as you can, and then you roll it back up. We're going to do just two more of those. So it's a real good idea to try and get as much flexion into your spine as you possibly can. Deep breaths as you do it. Just ease yourself into the movement. And we do just one more. Then whilst we're standing, we're going to do a little bit of opening for the chest. So it's a bit dynamic, but take your time, don't do it too powerfully. Facing the front again, feet still around about hip width apart. Take your hands together in front. We're going to do 3 different positions. We're going to take the hands wide, reasonably level with the shoulders. We're going to take the hands up, so you come up into like a Y position, and then you're going to bring them back to center, and you're going to take them down like so. Just a little bit of a pull each time you do it. So almost swing, actively swing the arms backwards, so you feel your chest opening. So you go center, up, down. So you've almost got to imagine that you're hitting something behind you with the back of your hands. Only a little tap, like a little slap in the face. Say for waking me up at 6 o'clock in the morning, here's a little slap in the face. So think about which bit's the tightest. So is it when you go to the side? Is it when you go slightly up? Or is it when you go slightly down? If it's when you go slightly up, it could be something to do with your pec minor being a little bit tight. Could be something to do with your lat muscles. So try and figure out where you feel the tightness the most. We'll do just one more. Then relax, just give them shoulders a big roll. Working into that neck, all I want you to do is push your right hand down to the floor and drop your head down to the left. So you push down, reach away with the fingertips, ear to the shoulder, bring it back to the center, ease off with the arm, and do that a couple of times. So each time you reach away with the fingers and you drop the ear, pretty much the same time you will get to the final point on each end. Yeah, so your arm will reach as far away as it can, and your ear will drop close to your shoulder around about the same time. We're going to do just one more. And then relax, give it a little roll if you need to, and we're going to switch. So left arm out, drop it down to the right, reach away with the fingertips, and bring it back. So the movement is what we're looking for. Rather than just a stretch, we're moving in and out as far as we possibly can of that movement. We'll do just one more, and then this one looks a bit dodge, but it's about getting some movement into your pelvis. So what you want to do is take your feet, maybe slightly wider than your hips, soften your knees slightly, and from the side, I'll show you, all I want you to try and do is keep your chest reasonably still, and just want to push your bum back and up, and then push it forward, so you get a little bit of a pelvic tilt, as far as you forward as you can, and as far backwards as you can. Try and get as much movement, tilting that pelvis backwards and forwards as you possibly can. Now some of you are going to be really minimal, that's fine, just try and ease into it a little bit. Some of you might get lots of movement. Some of you just look like red Christmas trees because you're all in your onesies. Do just one more, then relax. Give it a little twist if you need to. Now, I'm going to turn again to the side. What I'm going to do is I want you to take your arms up nice and controlled, bring them up level with your ears. When you get to about this position, so they're pretty much level with your ears, just ever so gently, lean back, push the hips forward, and then bring it back to the center. So don't go if there's pain, don't go too far, just try and get a little bit of extension into that spine. We'll do just two more, and then we're going to find ourselves a little bit of a space against the wall, just to do one exercise on both sides with the arms. Just relax. Again, twist off and fold forward if you need to, just to give that back a little bit of comfort in. So, what you need to do for the wall, imagine that's my wall. I'm going to place my arm against the wall, level with my shoulder. I'm almost going to face the wall. I'm going to push my shoulder right up against it, and then I'm going to use my other arm to just literally press my upper body slightly away, and then bring it back round. So all I'm trying to get is this movement. It's just a little pull on the arm and then back. But you're getting that pull on the arm by moving your upper body. Yeah, so your arm stays against the wall. Just use your other arm to push the upper body away. Only a little bit of movement, not too much. But it's just to try and open up through that pec and front of chest, front of the shoulder, just a little bit of a twist. Place your feet where it's comfortable for you to do that. So it's almost like a really, really deep stretch. Some of you will feel that right down into the arm. Some of you will feel that right across the front of the chest and shoulder. Some of you may even feel it in the back of the shoulder. So you'll feel it in lots of different places. Just do around about 6 or 7, maybe 8. And then once you've done that, all we're going to do is turn around and do the other arm. Relax, just give that a shoulder and arm a little roll and just turn yourself around 180 degrees and do the same with the other side. Arm against the wall. Opposite arm uses to push the body away and then back. So it's not too much movement. Don't force it. Try not to yank the arm. We're going to do around about 7 or 8 again on this one, and then that's your last standing one. Everything else is going to come on down, first of all on the knees. And then again, once you've done your 7 or 8, just give the shoulders a little roll, and we're going to come on down. Down to our knees, peoples. So I'm going to turn slightly to the side just so you can see my position. Sit my bum back onto my heels, and I'm going to place my hands just in front of the knees, back reasonably flat. So try not to round or slouch, reasonably flat. And what we're going to do is try and get a little bit of movement into the neck and into the spine. So we're going to do from here, all we need to do is to turn your head, so you drop your chin to your right shoulder, and you drop it in as much as you can so you feel the stretch at the back of the leg on the left. Then you bring it back to the center. Then you do it to the right, to the left shoulder, and you feel it on the right hand side of the neck. Then you come to the center, you lift your head all the way up, and your head all the way down. So if you're keeping your spine nice and straight, you should get a lot of movement through that neck. Now the last one, you've almost got to look at your right foot. So turn your head to the right, bend through the spine slightly, look at the right foot, bring it back to the center, and then come and look at the left. So that's your 6 points. When you're looking at your foot, we're aiming to try and get a little bit of a side bend, only a little bit, into that spine. So again, we do the same thing, we'll do it a couple of times. Drop the head as far around as you can to that chin, to that shoulder. And then bring it back to the center and go the other side. Chin to shoulder, back to the center, head comes all the way up. And then head goes all the way down. And you look at your right foot. So try and keep the back flat. You're going for a side bend rather than any kind of twisting. Back stays reasonably flat, but you're trying to really bend it to the side. You can do it just 2 more times. Come to the center, chin to the right shoulder, then back, then to the left. Now, if you're not feeling anything in this neck as you go to the side, really try and focus on twisting that chin around and down as much as you possibly can, as if you're trying to touch the chin on the shoulder. Up and down, and then we go right to left, looking at that foot. So it's really minimal movement, but it's really good to get a little bit of side bending into that spine. We do just 1 more. Chin again to the shoulder. Head up and down. And we go from right to left. And then relax, just come on up. Give anything a little roll if you need to. So what I'm aiming for now, we've got an area here, right in the center of our back. So you have your cervical area, which is the muscle, the vertebrae in your neck. Then the next part down is your thoracic. Yeah, so this is middle part of your back. I want to try and get some extension into there because it gets quite tight when we slouch quite often. So all I'm going to do is sit back onto my heels and place my hands one on top of the other behind my head and squeeze my elbows forward. So they're almost like crushing my head. And then from there, try and keep the hips as still as possible and imagine that your elbows are touching a wall, and all you're going to do is slide your elbows up the wall an inch or two and then back. And as you do that, you should feel like a little tightness right in the center of the back. Squeeze them elbows in and just literally draw them up the wall an inch or two and then back. Now, main thing to do is to try not to let this pelvis move, so it's quite easy to go like this and then you won't get the extension. So keep the back as still as possible and you bend from the center by lifting those elbows up and then back down. You can by all means do this against the wall to prevent any movement if you want to try. You have to face the wall, touch your elbows against the wall and then back. Who finds this one quite difficult? Couple of you, cool. Do just last one. Give it again, a little bit of a twist. Then, all I want you to do from here is to step your right leg forward. So when you step forward this time, that leg, front leg, is at around about 90 degrees. Back leg is relaxed. Place both hands on the floor, on the inside of that foot. And all we're going to do is take one arm at a time up towards the ceiling. So I'm going to start with my right hand, the hand nearest the foot. Take it up, reach towards the ceiling. Then bring it back down and do the same on the other arm. Now that one's a little bit more challenging. You have to get a little bit more rotation, especially through the trunk area, just above the hips. Alternate sides, right and left. When you take your left arm up, you probably have to work a little bit on your balance as well. Some of you are a bit wonky donkey-ish. Yeah, I've seen that. We're going to do 5 in total on each arm. So I think this is the 4th one. Once you've done your 5, keep those hands down on the floor. And then all you're going to do is lift your back knee up and down off the floor. So from here, I'm just going to lift my back leg up so it straightens out. And then I'll drop it back down to the floor. From the side, like so, lift it up, straighten so you get a pull through this hip flexor area and quads. You get a bit of a tightening in the glutes and hamstrings. And then back down. Lift it up, push the heel back through the back foot, and then down to the floor. Let's go for 8 of these. Lift it up, push, and then down. Once we've done 8, we're going to keep this leg forward. We're going to do a little bit of a pigeon stretch. Now, if anyone is struggling when we do that, give me a wave and I'll give you an alternative. And relax. So drop that back knee to the floor. So what we do for this pigeon stretch is we bring this front leg across the body, keep the hips reasonably parallel, and my back leg is out straight along the floor like so, keeping the chest up. Now if that's too much, you can't get into that position, with that back leg you can bring it out to 90 degrees and you can hold it here. Try and keep the hips parallel. If you're okay, use these arms and this upper body to just drop it down so you increase that stretch into the glute, and then lift it up and lift the chest, and then you get a little bit of pulling and a little bit of opening through those hip flexors. Drop the chest down and then lift up. Now if you still want to increase a little bit more, into that glute. You can come across and away from the knee, and then bring it back to the center and lift. Some of you might find that a bit more intense. So just drop the chest, nice and controlled, down, and then lift it back up. So next week we're going to start to add some strength work into some of our mobility movements. You're probably wondering why, but I'll explain in a post on Facebook for you. We'll do just one more. And then relax. Come on out any way you feel comfortable. And then we're going to switch. So we're going to take our left leg forward this time. Again, left leg at about 90 degrees. Both hands down. And we start off with the left hand and then the right hand. Taking them up to the ceiling. Twist open. Drop it down and then lift. See what your balance is like on this side. See if it's any better. It's always easier with the arm closest to the foot. So again, we'll go for like 5 on each arm. Take the eyes up towards the ceiling so that way you get the rotation through all the way through the spine, so it goes right up into the neck. And then once you've done your 5 on each arm, we'll keep those hands down in the center. And then we start to lift that back knee off the floor. So turn the toes underneath, back leg comes up, and then you drop it back down, nice and gently, nice and smooth, lift it all the way up, and drop it all the way down. Again, so we did 8 on this one last time, we'll do the same. Once you've done your 8, bring that front leg across the body into that pigeon type stretch. Straighten off the pelvis, use the hands. Elliot, what are you doing? Not much by the look of it. Drop the chest down over the leg and then start to use the hands to push back up. Is that Jordan? Tell her to bugger off. Tell her to bugger off. Thought she was signing up for the evening classes anyway. Yeah. Oh, I like that, Rob. It looks really good. So again, if you want to increase, take that upper body away from the front knee. And then lift. Really try and press those hips down towards the floor and lift the chest up, and you'll get a nice deep stretch into those hip flexors and top of the thigh. If that's an area where you're a little bit tight. So after we've done this one, we're going to do 2 more. One of them is a strength exercise, which would be good for every single one of you. It's an exercise to strengthen your lower trapezius, and it helps to bring your trapezius back and down. So a lot of us, especially with our phones and computers and driving and stuff like that, get rounded through the shoulders. So this one helps to pull it back and down. What you need to do is you need to lie face down on your fronts. I'll talk you through it and then I'll kind of sit up every now and then to show you. Bring your hands out so they're above your head. So you're going to place your forehead flat on the floor and your hands are almost in a diamond shape, just above your head, and your elbows are pretty much level with your ears. Yeah, from there, keeping your forehead down, press your elbows slightly into the floor and then lift your thumbs up towards the ceiling. Now they obviously naturally come back towards your shoulders as you lift and then slowly back down. Now some of you won't find it that challenging, some of you will find it quite difficult, but really focus on the, so you're focusing on those muscles around the back of the shoulder. Press the elbows down into the floor and lift the thumbs, and you should feel your upper back and shoulders just ever so slightly pulling down, tightening around the middle of the back, just below the neck, pressing it down, pull the thumbs up and back towards the neck. Let me see how you're getting on. So the main thing is to press ever so gently into the floor with the elbows and then lift those thumbs. If you don't press with the elbows, you won't get the right kind of activation. So you need to press it down and then lift the thumbs as if you're sliding them back over your head and then back to the center. There is a rabbit in your face, Sophie Martin. Do just 2 more, and then what we're going to do is we're going to stay lying on our fronts, but you might want to just lift your head up so you can see what's next. We're going to do, so my son does this one in his swimming group. This one's quite challenging, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to take your hands wide, like so, and you're going to try and get your right foot to touch your left hand. Now I know that most of you won't be able to do that, right? What you're going to do though is you lift your foot up, the right foot up, and you lift as if you're trying to touch that left hand. Now if you can get there, that's great. If not, don't worry. All we're doing is opening up the front of your thighs. It's getting a little bit of rotation into, if you get to here, and that's as far as you can go, that's fine. Alternate sides, keep the chest reasonably flat on the floor, so try not to twist the upper body too much, but just get that foot up, and as if you're reaching towards the hand. Let me have a look, see how you're doing. Not bad, you know, not bad. So literally just try and lift and bend and reach towards the hand. So you want to get, you don't just want to go like that to the side, you got to try and reach up. So that way you'll get the pull through the front of the thigh into the hip flexor, you'll get that rotation through that spine, and then bring it back to the center and switch. So really try and actively reach towards the hand. Like I said, don't worry if you're nowhere near. By the end of week 4, you'll be able to put both feet on that hand probably. Yeah. Rob talks crap. If you can't do it and you're younger than me, then there's something wrong with you, Chloe. Just a couple more. And then we'll come to the center and we're going to finish off with one movement we did the other day. We're going to come from child's pose to either up dog or cobra, some of you call it, hips down, chest up. So again, get that movement all the way through the hips and spine, push right back and come forward, push the hips forward, lift the chest, drop down. Just give me 5 of those to finish. Bum all the way back. Then hips all the way forward and down. Chest and chin up. There's 3. We'll do 2 more. So we've done a lot more today through the mid-thoracic area, through the middle of your spine. The reason is when you get quite tight through that mid-thoracic area, it creates a bit of a blockage, and then you can have problems going right up into the shoulders, into the neck, but also it can cause a problem going downwards as well. So a lot of times we try and correct everything through here, but there's a lot of stuff that we need to correct through here as well, just to eliminate some of those problems going into the shoulders and the hips. Hopefully you enjoyed it, people. That is the end of week 1. Come and tell me what you thought of it.